He puts on his exhibition.
To Lyons. Lyons drops. Now he's through the gap. This is a try. Cliff Lyons is in.
And here's an intercept for Cliffy Lyons. Out to Lyons, kicks into the corner. Lyons marks it. Lyons goes for a drop goal. Keeps it low. And the hand is in the air from McCallum. Lyons, he's through. Lyons went in high. Lyons the kick and the pursuit and the regather.
Lyons gets a
Lyons for 2B. Danny Moore offloads. Hancock inside. Lyons and Cliffy. He gets it down. Lyons scores for Manly.
Cliffy Lyons, the Dally M Player of the Year, among some of the great tries for 1994, and it has been a terrific season for a lot of...
Raper. Chapman at dummy half, little slow to get out of there, still makes 5 metres. Again, Long is around the legs. Already leading the tackle count for Cronulla. And this kick from Jason Martin. It's a good one from the halfback. And it's come back the way of Egar with a chase. Chance for Newcastle. Chris Quinn very slow to get to the ball. The chase came from Michael Egar. The kick from Jason Martin stood up beautifully. Have a look at this.
This is hesitation here on behalf of Cronulla by Chris Quinn. Just taking his time there and look, watching the ball, thinking those players coming through were offside. So lackadaisical play there by Chris Quinn, and lucky to get out of it, Cronulla. Drop out now.
A line dropout that certainly should not have been for the Cronulla side. There's Quinn, left foot drop kick. Makes 40 metres, but Newcastle goes straight back on the charge through Vincent. He knocks out of the way of Donaghy. They're 25 metres out from the Cronulla line, across this time. With the ball is Billy Peden, favourite for man of the match honours in this grand final. There's Martin at dummy half, away to Wayne Richards now, tackled by Michael Porter. And now across it comes. Martin with the ball. Came through Scott to David Smith. He's been around forever. Tackle 10 metres out from the Cronulla line. Through Grogan. Now away to Scott. He stands in the tackle to Chapman. 5 metres out. The Cronulla defence gets there in numbers. The last tackle for the Newcastle Knights. 5 out from the line. They run it with the overlap on the right side. Great ball from Jason Martin. And Egar gets the try, the number 17. What a start for the Newcastle Knights. 5.5 minutes gone. And Newcastle lead Cronulla by 4 points to 0.
And you've simply got to go back to the mistake made by Chris Quinn and that kick through a minute ago. What a great ball by Jason Martin there. The defence coming up, not reading it at all. I didn't think Egar was going to get the ball down for a minute, but in the end he finally did. So the first points on the board to the mighty Knights.
Yeah, possession, a very big thing for Newcastle, and as you see there, they've got 2 sets of seats back to back, and made the difference. I would say if they get an equal share of possession in this game, 50% or 55%, they'll score a lot of tries.
9 tries this season for Michael Egar. He's a local from Raymond Terrace. And as I mentioned, a player thought highly by the Newcastle Knights and perhaps headed for first grade. They've been criticised over a number of years for their centres in first grade, the Newcastle Knights.
What a great ball by Jason Martin. I believe he's the best player class-wise on the field, and his class showed out there with that great ball, great vision by him. And this is Wayne Richards coming in to take the kick. I'm surprised, Chief, that Richards is the kicker ahead of someone like David Smith, who's been a kicker in first grade for quite a long time.
Well, that's a fair call. And how important is it in these days, particularly in grand finals, to make sure every time you score a try, it's 6 points instead of 4?
I'll tell you something about Wayne Richards, watching him through the final series, when he puts in a bad kick, it is absolutely dreadful. This is 15 out, 12 in from touch. The old toe poker, Wayne Richards, looking for the extra 2 off to the side of the posts. But Newcastle with first points in the reserve grade grand final. They lead Cronulla by 4 points to 0. Minutes of the grand final in reserve grade. Newcastle up by 4 points to 0. And working it away from their own 20 now. This is Wayne Richards standing in the tackle. Stuart Topper wraps him up over the top. The halfback. Craig Greenhill, I think, is the player down in back play for the Sharks, their front rower. There he is there, Craig Greenhill, the 23. Is this kick from Jason Martin? Another good one from the Newcastle halfback. Chris Quinn, I think, will make sure he gets to it this time on the first bounce. He does. And Martin's the first man there to make the tackle. Hang on, what happened there? He's ruled that inside the 10. And I thought the chase was a good one from the Newcastle Knights. Cronulla get the penalty. Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yes, Robbie Kearns just about to come on. Interesting to see both benches. Robbie Kearns, plenty of first-grade experience too. Also for Newcastle, Tony Butterfield on the bench. So there's some good players that are going to come off the bench this afternoon for the second-grade side.
And Bill Harrigan has blown time off for the moment. That's Robbie Kearns in 41. Plenty of concern for young Craig Greenhill.
Yeah, the doctor's gone out onto the field there, so you would think he'd probably head off for a rest. And the doc's calling for assistance now. Here it is there. Well, it looked like a half-pie elbow there, but hard to tell from that front-on shot. Anyway, he's down and out. And he's on the feet now, and they're trying to get the smelling salts into him, wake him up, the drink.
The elbow certainly wasn't really that cocked when it made contact with Craig Greenhill's head. And he's not feeling the best. Here it is, Richards. Shoulder more.
Oh, more shoulder. I would have said shoulder, yeah. But nasty, just obviously going in too high. I mean, players are taught when they're kids to go in low, and I still believe that's the best way to tackle.
Been a bit harsh on Craig Greenhill there. He didn't go that high. Took him front on. He sort of dropped the shoulder into him. Either way, Craig Greenhill even. He's off the field and gives Robbie Kearns an early chance into this grand final.
And they'll lose nothing here with Robbie Kearns, a very good player. And that young man's getting a ride on the Medicab.
So off goes Craig Greenhill, 23, off to the rooms. Time to get things together and play the time back on. And Cronulla, of course, with that penalty, finding touch, 15 inside their own half. And it'll be weaponhead. Michael Porter going forward. Has not changed his playing style since he came into grade in the 80s. Still playing it the same way. Runs it hard, puts the head down as here's Kearns up to halfway. A tackle that time by Paul Marquette. Now it comes across the line. With it is Adam Marr tackled. One of the Brisbane East connection who linked up with Cronulla this year, along with coach John Lang in first grade. Now Nathan Long tackled by Marquette, 36 metres out from the Newcastle line as Raper out of dummy half. The dummy beat two, the spin beat another. Good play from Aaron Raper, the Cronulla hooker. Topper at dummy half. Across it comes to Scott Brown. He tries the bomb. Back centre field from Scott Brown. The Cronulla chase is a good one. It went forward from Paul Donaghy, also Robbie Kearns there. And Newcastle come back up with a ball 15 out from their own line. First chance they had on the last tackle, they've tried the bomb. And for a moment it almost came off with a chase led by Robbie Kearns and Paul Donaghy. Let's take a comment from Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yeah, good news for the Cronulla club. Craig Greenhill, only a little bit of concussion. He'll probably be back for the side, so no serious damage to him.
It's time Tim Madison, big front rower for Newcastle. Almost up to halfway. The tackle from Kearns over the top was long. There's now Martin kicking from inside his own half. Kicking away from Quinn. Headed towards Glenn Coleman. He takes it on the second bounce. And again, the chase good. Over the top came the 25. That's Billy Peden. Richards down below. Running it out now, Adam Marr.
Paddy, these two forward packs obviously still sorting each other out. Do you see any side getting on top of each other yet?
No.
I'll second that.
No, at this stage it's evens out there. I like the look of these two front rowers for Newcastle in Madison and Stuart Collins. I don't know much about them, but I believe there's a big rap on Madison up there in Newcastle territory as the Raper makes a little dart up the middle.
And this is Cronulla with a 10 inside their own half on the last tackle. Again, the kicking duties with a 5'8" Scott Brown, a former Brisbane Bronco. Had kick over the head of Grogan. Interesting, Grogan playing on the flank with David Smith moving into the centres there for a play. And Grogan wrapped up just inside his own 20. The tackle from Paul Bell, another player on the move next year. He's off the western suburbs. This is David Smith tackled by Nathan Long, 25 out from the Knights line. The hit up now came from Billy Peden, was it? Tackled, 32 out from the line. Chapman in a dummy half. Pass away to Collins. And Adam Marr with a tackle that time. Porter over the top. Chapman again with a kick out of dummy half. and looking for touch on the eastern side of the Sydney Football Stadium. He's done very well, Max Chapman. Big gain in metres from the hooker, Max Chapman.
Yeah, to date, Newcastle kicking game has been superb with Jason Martin finding the ground 3 times, and there Max Chapman on the sideline about 10 metres out.
And Chief, Max Chapman, a player who's played plenty of first grade as well, a player you've packed in alongside in the scrums.
Certainly have. He's played a lot of first grade. Unfortunately, had a bad knee injury all year, but a great player, Max Chapman, and he'll be a valuable player out here, particularly with the kicking.
But not signed for next year.
True.
And a penalty there.
He has a kick in the scrum there. Looked like a knock-on for a minute by the halfback Stuart Topper. You can see a Newcastle boot in there at some stage, so a penalty going to Cronulla, who have been under a deal of pressure there. They haven't been in the opposition half for about 5 or 10 minutes.
And Tim Madison was the player penalised, flashing out in that scrum as Raper takes the tap. Porter overruns the play, and Raper put down by Madison. Now Topper with a scurry out of dummy half. Coming across the line now, Wilson standing in the tackle. Back to Raper. Now across to Coleman working in field. And he's put down there by Chapman. Just short of halfway. Cross it comes through Brown. Long pass from Scotty Brown on to Chris Quinn. Whipping pass from the 5'8". Donaghy trying to make a bust out of dummy half. Not much to that play. Jason Martin wraps him up. Has been a strong point of Jason Martin's play has been his defence right from his days at North Sydney. And Cronulla with that kick, fielded by Brett Grogan. And just confirming he is on the wing, Brett Grogan, despite wearing jumper number 16. As Ross tries to get out of dummy half, trying to get away from Bell, wrapped up. He's come up with a drop ball. Chance now for the Sharks. Porter on to Marr. Adam Marr wrapped up by Brett Grogan. Unhappy start to the game for Robbie Ross as Aaron Raper again spinning out of a tackle. They're spread out to the left. That's the way they throw it through Brown. He just paused before throwing the pass and is trapped in possession. Chapman and Madison make the tackle. Porter at dummy half. He goes himself, Michael Porter. The blue headgear certainly stands out. He almost got the head through the gap. As across it comes to Marta Topper. Standing in the tackle of Jason Martin, wrapped up over the top by Skovgaard, the 5'8". It's the last tackle for Cronulla. Now with the ball, the short kick from Brown. The post almost in the way. Robbie Ross comes up with the ball but can't get back into the field of the play. Bell made the tackle and we have a line dropout for the Knights.
Nice kick there by Cronulla on the end of that set of tackles, and well positioned was Robbie Ross to handle this ball. See the fullback just drifting in behind the line and handled that pretty well.
Good tackle too there from the 17 for the Sharks, Paul Bell. And big dropout from the Newcastle Knights. Have a go at it. It's AFL. It's gone 70 metres. Well, that's some sort of gain for the Knights, and Coleman's wrapped up. Well, all that from a line dropout. They've made 65 metres. They were better off having the dropout.
Yeah, certainly Cronulla needed to make the most of that advantage here, and they haven't.
There's Porter just over halfway. Knights in front by 4 points to 0. An early try to their centre, Michael Egar. And of course, earlier today, Cronulla winning the President's Cup over Eastern Suburbs and searching for title number 2 now in the reserve grade. As Long, good charge forward, slips the pass out the back to Raper. This time it's Stuart Topper almost through the gap. Tackle around the legs by Marquette, playing it forward on the last Stuart Topper. Then kicks over the top of Robbie Ross. It's only Topper with a chase. Raper getting through now. And his pressure applied on David Smith forces Smith to go over the dead ball line. And again, it'll be a line dropout.
Smart work by Topper here. Gets through the gap, no marker, quick play of the ball, and no defence in front of him at all. A tackle from behind, he's entitled to be tackled there. No worries with that tackle, and David Smith quite casual behind the sticks there, but in the end it'll be another dropout. This one's only gone 40 metres though.
Adam Marr charges it back. Got the pass from Scott Brown. He's wrapped up there by Skovgaard, the 5'8". As Quinn it was a dummy half, away to Robbie Kearns. Tackled that time by Paul Marquette. Also there was Collins. Comes across the line now to Topper. He jinked back in field. His support player standing a little too far back to throw the pass. Raper turns it to the left side now through Brown. Away it goes to Donaghy. Good tackle from Egar again. Standing up on his centre. Across to Brown. He throws the short pass to Porter. Porter back to Brown. Chance for the Sharks, 10 out. Inside pass to Topper. And he's wrapped up. 8 out from the line, the last tackle for Cronulla. They're looking to go to the right side. The long ball. It comes away to Scott Brown, then to Nathan Long. Now to Bell. Great tackle from David Smith. The ball went down to Coleman. Harrigan wants the changeover. Good tackle from David Smith.
Yeah, that's what you call a bell ringer by David Smith on his opposite number, and saved the try. There was not much space out there all the same, but good tackle by Smithy, former Eastern Suburbs player.
Yeah, Newcastle have very good sliding defence there. They show you the sideline, create the illusion and push you into it. That's a great tackle.
And a knock on from the Newcastle Knights.
That's what Newcastle really need. They need possession. They're a very good side with the ball in their hands, and there's only been one occasion we've had 2 sets of 6 in a row and they've scored. That's what they need to do.
Quite sure what Bill Harrigan saw, but it is a Cronulla feed. And it's 15 out from the Newcastle line. All the pressure coming from the Cronulla Sharks now. And down by 4 points to 0. Harrigan laying down the law. Topper to work this scrum. Madison can't get the head in on the blind side for Newcastle. As forward goes Coleman. Away from the first tackle of Skovgaard. Has propelled him through the gap as it comes across to Topper. Now to Quinn. Quinn, the overhead ball, almost an intercept there from Shane Vincent. One of the fastest men in the Newcastle club. He could have been away. It is again Shane Vincent going for that pass. Tipped it over the top. Well, he prevented a try. It was 2-on-1. To the sideline we go, Steve Roach.
Yeah, and how important for Cronulla Sutherland is Aaron Raper. Anything that started, it starts from him. I remember back last year they were talking about him being the next New South Wales hooker. A very, very experienced player.
Topper it is in turn, wrapped up, 15 out from the line. Now Nathan Long again. Tackled by Marquette right in front of the Newcastle posts. As Wilson goes himself from dummy half. Trying to stretch out the arm, Alan Wilson. Great defence from the Newcastle Knights. Desperation defence. Raper at dummy half. Gets it out of there to Topper. Topper on to Brown. Again, the numbers were on the left and Brown through the dummy.
That's very selfish play. They had 3-on-1. All he should do is slip a small pass and they're over.
Back to the right they go. Topper to Quinn. Holding the pass up. Threw it to Long. No, held on to the ball. Chris Quinn. 2 Sharks players taken out of the play. It comes across to Scott Brown again. And again they try the centre field bomb. Plenty of Cronulla players there. Porter comes up with it. He knocks it back. It went forward and a penalty. Offside against the Sharks.
Well, that was Cronulla's 4th set of 6 in a row. And I think you'll agree, the Newcastle Knights sliding defence, Cronulla should have scored on 2 occasions there. And it's only through, they've had numbers, 4-on-2 at one occasion and just through the sliding defence. They've got no attacking play to hold up the slide. They're all just running the evens lines towards the sideline, making easy defence there for Newcastle.
And Newcastle's confidence will grow with that great defence they've shown the last 5 minutes. And it wouldn't surprise you. We've seen it many, many times where a team has been attacking one line, all of a sudden it gets turned around, and who knows, Newcastle could score very shortly.
And Tony Butterfield just on the field now.
Tim Madison, the player replaced Tony Butterfield on in jumper number 40, and a player that will stay on the field now until full time, if the previous weeks are any guide, is Newcastle. 35 out from the Cronulla line. Across it comes now. Collins standing in the tackle. Maher wraps him up. Chapman at dummy half. Away now to Peden. And 3 Sharks defenders there to meet him. Wilson finishes off the tackle with Raper. Thought a knock on almost there from Chapman at dummy half. Martin with a well-placed kick over the top. Cronulla are there. The ball comes loose. And cleaning up is Adam Maher. And in turn, he's cleaned up by Stuart Collins. And this time it's Cronulla's turn for the line dropout.
They do look good with the football, Newcastle. They seem to know what they're all about, where they're heading all over the park. A good kick on the end of this. And I actually thought that might have been knocked forward by Paul Marquette. So maybe a touch of no luck there for Cronulla. They now have a dropout. But Newcastle, plenty of set plays. Jason Martin is guiding them around the park very nicely.
Now hurry with the line dropout from Cronulla. It's Chris Quinn with a left footer. And not such a flash kick either, only making 30 metres. Martin, he's looking for a charge now. He finds Wayne Richards. stood in the tackle. Good pass on to Peden. Outstanding play, this Bill Peden.
He's having a big game.
Across comes Chapman. Now Collins, good run. 15 metres out from the Sharks line. Chapman in a dummy half. Across to Martin. Switch of play from Jason Martin. Finds a support in Richards. Again he stands in the tackle. Skogard looking for a man to pass it to. He finds Peden. Then across it comes to Butterfield, and he's tackled by Nathan Long. Brown over the top. Scott Brown, the 5'8". Chapman away to Martin. He throws the cutout ball to Robbie Ross. Crunching defence from the Sharks. Paul Bell. And Adam Maher there to make the tackle. Good play the ball though. Martin ricocheted off one player. I think it may have been Richards. And Donaghy comes up with the ball for the Sharks, just 5 out from the line.
We'll just give Newcastle's defence a rap. Cronulla certainly need a rap also. Tremendous defence in their own line. They need some of their senior players to take hold of the game now.
Good run that time from Chris Quinn. Relieving some of the pressure off the Sharks. And Kurt Wrigley makes another 5. Another one of those players who has had plenty of experience in the top grade. And his injury problem of the year started way back in the trials. It was a finger injury. Ended up with microsurgery that kept him out for something like 14 or 16 weeks. And Cronulla 15 metres inside their own half. Another strong charge from Nathan Long.
He's a good player, this Nathan Long. Blonde hair. It's hard to believe Peter Sterling looked like that once when he was 12.
And that kick over the top. Rogan fields it. It's easy to knock blokes from over there, isn't it? Martin now. This is Shane Vincent. Wrapped up just short of halfway. Again, the crowd a little quiet in this match as they were in the President's Cup. Marquette goes forward. 42 metres out now from the Cronulla line. Chapman across to Collins. He got away from Kearns, got away from Adam Maher. Look at this charge of Collins. Look at that pass. Topper comes up with it.
Well, a good run by Collins, but in the end his support let him down because he was standing there for an eternity looking for someone to pass it to. He could have got a good quality pass away, but the defence got in between the players in the end, so unlucky there for Newcastle.
Yeah, this game just seems to be in the balance at the moment. No one really making the most of their opportunities and just going back and forth. I suggest a side that gets a stranglehold of possession and gets a couple more sets of 6 back-to-back will score before the half's over.
Bellett is playing the ball. Coleman in a dummy half. Long again. Well, he's leading the tackle count. I think he might be leading the hit-ups as well, Nathan Long. 32 out from the Newcastle line. The pass came across from Raper to Topper. Then to Scott Brown. Again, he comes back in field. Short chip over the top. Diving catch from Jason Martin. Play by the halfback off to the Cowboys in 95. Kick over the top came from Scott Brown. Deft little kick. Brown wasn't able to get there first because of the dive of Jason Martin, as now the Knights go straight up the centre. Up to halfway, Brett Grogan is tackled. They needed a quick play, the ball it came, but a knock on from Max Chapman. They got him this time.
Well, they're the little things just when momentum is gathering for Newcastle. Knock-ons like this really impede your progress. It's a matter of concentration. A very hard play the ball there by Grogan.
So Topper working this scrum. You can see the halfway line there. The Sharks deep on the right side. Topper across to Brown. Quinn was looking to come into the play from the back. In fact, it was Donaghy in 16 around the decoy, but Scott Brown again just holding on to that pass a little too long.
Well, Scott Brown, if Cronulla want to do something, he's got to start passing the football. He seems to panic when he's in traffic and won't even look to pass it.
Topper away from dummy half, trying to spin out of the tackle there. Peden makes the tackle. Pass across this time from Raper. On to Brown. That time he unloads. Wilson it was hitting the line. And wrapped up 30 metres out from the line. Inside ball to Nathan Long. Straight up the centre. The half away from Collins. Wrapped up by Butterfield. Last tackle for the Sharks. Raper the blind side. The kick through. Pressure on Robbie Ross coming across the chase. A good one from the Sharks. And Robbie Ross cleans up when he had to.
Seems to be Cronulla's best weapon today, this little kick in behind the play of the ball. This is the 3rd time now that Newcastle have been caught in their dead ball zone. And Robbie Ross once again to the fore there. A good chase by Cronulla.
Yeah, I've never seen a game where there's been so many drop kicks. It's unbelievable, making the most of the kicking game in the 6th tackle.
Well, it's another one for Newcastle. Nathan Long in a bit of trouble there. Shame if he was forced from the field. Drop out again, finding plenty of ground. Fielded by Brown. Now away to Adam Maher it is. Bounces away from Peden. Strong effort from Adam Maher. This time Kearns up to the 20. Taken in that tackle front on by Tony Butterfield. Aaron Raper at dummy half. The blind side is Porter. He takes it one out, Michael Porter, but they make another 10. Egar makes the tackle front on. Raper across to Quinn, now across the line to Topper. Takes on the defence, cleaned up by Paul Marquette, just 10 metres out from the Newcastle line. Chance on the right side. Scott Brown looked to throw the inside ball, goes himself over the head to Coleman. Great ball. Coleman, inches short of the line, cleaned up there by David Smith. The cover also there was Robbie Ross. Scott Brown again with a kick through. The chase came from Donaghy, but Newcastle have managed to survive. Robbie Ross again forces the line dropout.
Well, he's having a day. Robbie Ross, he's under immense pressure back there. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's handling all these kicks very, very well. Newcastle starting to miss a few tackles. And there's Robbie Ross. That's great positional play by the fullback. Sort of play the Graham Eady or Gary Jack at their best would be proud of.
There's only 7 minutes to go in this game, and I suggested if Newcastle can hold Cronulla out, it's a vital importance. I think if Cronulla score now, it'll be a big advantage for them in the second half, just for confidence-wise.
Well, there's trouble. Billy Peden's off.
Oh, no.
Damien Driscoll, the player on in jumper number 41 for Newcastle. And Cronulla on the attack. Chris Quinn it is. They're down by 4 points to 0 still, the Sharks. As they're 30 metres out from the line. Andrew Pearce now on also for the Sharks for Nathan Long. And Cronulla 25 metres out from the line. It comes across through Topper. Now away to Scott Brown. The run around with Topper. He's half through the gap. Bounces away from Grogan. Grogan comes again. Makes the tackle 15 metres out from the Knights line. Across through Brown. Long pass. Found Kearns. He finds the support. That's Paul Donaghy tackled. Now 15 out from the Newcastle line. Again, Egar was there. The blind side they go. Short kick. Newcastle have it covered, but it's a knock-on against Driscoll. And more pressure for the Newcastle Knights.
The defence has been great by Newcastle, but how long can they hang on for? This is another set of 6 coming up for Cronulla. They're starting to use the ball a bit better now. Topper in particular looks very, very dangerous when he runs at the football.
Well, even if they can last out this first half without a try, Newcastle, they've chewed up plenty of juice. And I'm sure that'll pay dividends for Cronulla in the second half late, because it's a bit hot here.
Extra time feel about this match, even though it is only coming up to half-time. It was almost extra time in the major semi as Cronulla win that scrum. And Kurt Wrigley tackled. Wrapped up 10 out from the line. Tackle came from Vincent. Wilson this time with a hit up, just 5 out from the line. Marquette with the defence. Raper thinking about a go from dummy half. Topper looking dangerous. Half away from the tackle of Driscoll. Over the top there came Collins. Now Raper. Short pass to Adam Maher, almost through the gap. Newcastle last line of defence. It was a great pass from Raper. Comes back the left side, Topper. Now a chance for Quinn. Throws it back inside to Topper. Great half volley by the halfback. And tackled around the legs by Tony Butterfield. It is the last. Newcastle clinging on through Raper now. The kick across field. There's only 2 men at home. It evades Grogan. He gets it again. You guessed it, line dropout.
I can't believe this. I've never seen a game with so many drop kicks and pressure applied. Cronulla have got to score this set of 6. It's vital to them confidence-wise, and they need to do it before the first half.
Grogan that time was the man who had to clean up. A kick beautifully placed by Aaron Raper, the 22 for Cronulla. And as you could imagine, Newcastle in no rush for this line dropout. They've done well finding the metres though off the kicks, and again David Smith gets it up to halfway. Taken on the fly by Donaghy. As Kearns it is, no in fact Pearce. Andrew Pearce going forward in the 42. And tackled 29 metres out from the Knights line. Coleman across to Adam Maher. Been very impressive in the first half, Adam Maher. 25 out from the line now. Raper. Topper working some play with Robbie Kearns. He bounced away from one tackle. That was away from Skovgaard. They come back to the right. They're spread out this time. Topper through Brown. He unloads to Donaghy standing in the tackle. Back to Brown. The unload away to Bell. Bell stands up David Smith easily. Taken by Paul Marquette. 15 out from the Newcastle line. Blindside play, Michael Porter. He's desperate for a try. His second charge at the line down the blind. Again, Raper with a kick. It's in the in-goal area. Martin, the chase isn't there this time. Topper gets to him. Martin can't get back into the field of play. The umpteenth line dropout for the Newcastle Knights.
What's going on here, Fatty?
Well, what's going on is good play by Cronulla in the respect that they're keeping the pressure on Newcastle. Unfortunately for them, they can't crack the line. The Newcastle defence outstanding, and Cronulla have to come up with a few new ideas if they want to score a try. Too late to do this, but they need points on the board. And all this pressure on must be converted into points very soon, or it will all go astray.
So David Smith getting plenty of practice with these dropouts. That wasn't one of his best ones. And Kearns it is who brings it back. They're 25 metres out from the line. They've still got the 0 next to their name. Newcastle up by 4 points to 0.
Cronulla, when they're attacking, they've got to put a bit of subtlety there. They're just running the evens line towards the sideline, making it very easy for Newcastle to defend against them. Got to have a few inside balls, a couple of straight runners coming through, and create a few offloads. They've got to get some subtlety in their play.
Raper across to Topper. Inside from Brown. They know this part of the field well. They can't come up with the points. Brown takes it up to the line, showed it left inside. Then DeMar on the outside. Chapman's defence outstanding front on. And again, it's the last tackle. The kick this time from Brown over the top. Pressure here for Robbie Ross. They go up. The Sharks charging through. Newcastle have come through. This time Harrigan has ruled the knock-on against Cronulla. And back to the 20. Big pat on the back for the Newcastle Knights. Outstanding it.
Well, there it is. That's a mistake that Newcastle were looking for. Came on the 5th tackle. The knock-on by Cronulla. And Robert Finch, with only a matter of a minute or two before half-time, he'll get his players in there. He'll be ecstatic. Patting them on the back about their defence, telling them that what a great job they did, and they can go on from there.
Steve Roach, absolutely outstanding from the Knights.
Oh, I can't believe the defence. One of their best two in the defensive cave. Max Chapman has been replaced and Chris Watson is on.
And Newcastle being pushed back here. They're happy to have the pill in their hands, though. Paul Marquette getting over the 30, tackled by Michael Porter. A pass away this time to Driscoll. Good pass, offload. And forward goes Robbie Ross. 5 metres short of halfway. As out of dummy half is Watson. Inside the Cronulla half now. The tackle came from Kearns. Across to Martin. There's a chance on the right-hand side for Newcastle. The pass a little long as Vincent puts in the left footer. The bounce goes sideways and into touch from Shane Vincent.
Well, it's good to see Newcastle's two replacements, Tony Butterfield and Damien Driscoll, doing a lot of the work there, taking some pressure off the boys. As I said before, it's very, very hot here, and they're going to be vital.
Chance for Newcastle inside the final 30 seconds of the first half. They're 25 metres out from the Cronulla line. What sort of performance would this be if they come up with a try after all that tackling? Jason Martin thought about the kick over the top, gets away from Wilson, no. Captain on captain, Alan Wilson makes the tackle. Watson stumbles out of dummy half. Away to Driscoll. He stood in the tackle to Grogan. He stands in turn to Ross. Great hands from the Newcastle side. The kick came off the face of Adam Maher and into touch. And that will be half-time. Could save the chance of a try, the head of Adam Maher. Half-time, Newcastle leading the Sharks by 4 points to 0. Their defence, though, the outstanding feature of that first half. And Newcastle leading by 4 points to 0. The lone try scored by their centre, Michael Egar. That was in the 5th minute of play. But since then, all they've had to do is defence. And they've done it oh so well. They've certainly deserved the 10-minute break. They go to half-time, leading by 4 points to 0. President's Cups to the Sharks. Newcastle a step closer to taking the reserve grade title. We'll take a break now. Grand Final Day 1994 on the Wide World of Sports.